Here's Johnny.
Welcome to yet another Cartoon Galaxy rant. I'm Mars Moon, and I love to rant about cartoons. I know this is something that was mentioned months ago, and yet again, I'm late to the game, but I think it is about that time that I return to talking about Cartoon Network and a lot of the problems it's been facing recently. This especially impacts me, as well as a lot of us Cartoon Network fans, but I feel it a lot as I've always been a Cartoon Network girl since I was a kid. Yeah, I grew up with both Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, but Cartoon Network was where it was at. It was my jam, and I just have so much more fond memories of it. But it's been going through some hardships as of lately. In fact, I talk quite a bit about it in another video, link above and in the description if you wish to check it out. In summary, I just mainly mention how Cartoon Network started out and how it's slowly been deteriorating due to stupid mergers, bad decisions by moronic CEOs, looking at you, Zaslav, resulting in layoffs, the Cartoon Network website shutting down, and projects being scrapped, while some others made it through the cracks even though they should have been thrown in a burning heap of garbage that it truly was. However, it doesn't end there. Now Cartoon Network is dealing with more troubles on the HBO Max platform, which is surprising to me as HBO Max seemed to be the only saving grace for Warner Brothers Discovery, which, did I fail to mention, is in severe debt due to its piss-poor decisions. And it gets worse as a lot of Cartoon Network shows are being pulled from HBO Max. People have been reporting that they're seeing certain shows like Courage the Cowardly Dog, Adventure Time, and the regular show vanishing in thin air. But wherever are they going? I'll tell you where, but before I do, just a quick reminder to please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I'm also trying super hard to get as many watch hours as possible, so if you can watch until the end of the video, that also helps too. Not that you have to, but if you do find what I have to share interesting, watch on. And for those of you currently supporting the channel, a special thanks to all of you. The channel and Cartoon Galaxy rant would be nothing without you. Okay, now back to the video. So, where are all these Cartoon Network shows going? Well, on other streaming services, of course. If you wish to watch most of the missing shows on HBO Max, you could look on either Amazon Prime, Hulu, which is currently owned by Disney, yikes, and Tubi, which is actually free, but be prepared to watch a lot of ads. But you guys may be thinking, well, okay, the shows are relocated, but why even do such an annoying thing in the first place? Well, for money, of course, because everything always comes down to money. And like I mentioned earlier, Warner Brothers Discovery is in a lot of debt and needs to do what it can to save and make money. This means laying off people, scrapping projects, and getting rid of shows on HBO Max. Why get rid of shows? Because it becomes too costly to pay residuals to the show's creators. It's just easier to take them down, especially as it seems that despite so many people being nostalgic for their Cartoon Network cartoons, HBO Max isn't acquiring the amount of views that the execs at Warner Brothers Discovery want to see. This could be due to the fact that although nostalgic adults are watching these shows, not enough kids are because they be YouTubing and TikToking and shit. Old cartoons just don't strike their fancy. Plus, according to the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav, they want to make HBO Max have more adult shows and introduce newer stuff. So, out with the old and in with the new. Oh geez, how I am sick of hearing that time and time again. Also, by having other streaming services air these old Cartoon Network shows, Warner Brothers Discovery not only saves money, but earns money because these streaming services have to pay a licensing fee just to have them on their platforms. Sounds like Warner Bros. Discovery did some good planning, especially to solve their debt situation, am I right? Well, although it might get them a few bucks back, I'm sure, it could still have some long-term implications. And this all comes down to the customers. Yeah, Warner Bros. Discovery is making some money back, but in the process, they are pissing off their consumer base. Think about it now. For those who want to watch those Cartoon Network shows, they no longer have the luxury of watching it on one streaming service. They have to go onto multiple other streaming services, which is a lot more money for them to spend, which in the end really, really sucks. Moreover, HBO Max has been going up in price, and according to CEO Zaslav, the prices for Max are only going to go up further. Sound familiar? It should, because Disney Plus did the same crap. They had new content that was garbage and also removed shows while upping the price of their service. Eventually, people got fed up and left. And I hate to say it, but this may be the case for HBO Max. If having Cartoon Network shows was part of the appeal, but now the shows are gone, oh, and the price is increasing, yeah, you, as a customer, are probably going to get rid of the service because it sure as hell ain't worth it. And let me also just address this real quick, because I know there are quite a few folks that are probably like, well, Mars, cartoons are for children, and adults who watch for nostalgia's sake need to grow up and get over it. First off, there is nothing wrong with nostalgia. In fact, I'm surprised the decision to get rid of these Cartoon Network shows was even made, considering that a lot of other newer shows are based off old shows for the sake of nostalgia and to draw customers in. For God's sake, they're coming out with yet another Scooby-Doo show that's live action. So the company is aware nostalgia sells, which is weird that they would be okay getting rid of nostalgic old content. But let's just set nostalgia aside. Let's pretend that isn't a factor in all of this. You know, another reason why is it's BS to get rid of old cartoons and not give them a platform. Because cartoons are a part of our culture. Cartoons have been around for many different generations, and in each one has reflected the times which they have come from. In fact, they are kind of a part of history, worthy of being archived for viewers of all ages. That's why Cartoon Network was so successful in the first place. It originally was a place to air old Hanna-Barbera shows and many others, but knowing that it may not attract kids right away, at least a newer generation of kids, they made it appealing with little segues, bumpers, and commercials in between to make the cartoons relatable and attractive. The answer isn't, well, kids just ain't watching it and it doesn't get enough views, so let's get rid of it. You have to be creative and find ways to get them to watch it, because these cartoons need to have a platform. Otherwise, they'll be lost to the ages and no one will be able to see them. Hell, it's no wonder people want to even get a hold of shows illegally now, considering stuff like this. Not that I condone it, but I could see what is causing people to go that route. It's absolutely frustrating. You know what is also nuts? The fact that a cartoon was in fact the mascot for Warner Brothers. First there was Michigan J. Frog, and a lot of times you would see Bugs Bunny next to the Warner Brothers logo. Hell, he was the mascot at Six Flags. Both of these characters are featured in the show The Looney Tunes. Well, guess what? Looney Tunes is one of the shows removed by Max. In fact, Space Jam 2 was the last of any new Looney Tunes stuff to come out, and this was before the horrible Warner Brothers and Discovery merger, which basically just ruined everything. It's like after this merger, no one gave a crap about what made this company so great, and Looney Tunes was one of the shows to feel the impact of this. Also, to add insult to injury, Warner Brothers Discovery scrapped a Looney Tunes movie the day the Earth blew up. The only reason this movie was able to see the light of day was because another company took it and put it out there. So shame. Shame on Warner Brothers to take the tunes that represented the company and toss them out like a sack of potatoes. Hell, Disney, as much as I'm not too pleased with them as of lately, and perhaps there's a video yet of me to talk about that, but Disney, despite its horrible business practices, never got rid of Mickey Mouse. He's still the mascot to this day. Even when Steamboat Willie became public domain, Disney allegedly was still not letting people use that character in their work. Oh, and things get crazier from here because Warner Brothers Discovery also wants to split into two entities starting in 2026. Warner Global Media, which will handle all the cable TV stuff like Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, and CNN and all that other crap. And Warner Brothers is the second entity, which will just handle the streaming aspect of everything. Global Media will be run by Gunnar Wiedenfels, and Zaslav will be in charge of the streaming stuff. Might I add that both these men were employed by Discovery before the merger, so we know their interests are not in any way what Warner Brothers stood for. They just care about making
money, money, this, money, money, that. Profit will make me wallet fat.
This also, I found out, may screw over MeTV Tunes, which as of lately seems to be the only network airing a lot of our old favorite cartoons. So if you're looking to find the ones that have been removed, at least a good portion of them, I'd recommend checking this channel out. But I don't know what's going to become of MeTV Tunes, as with the Warner Brothers split, MeTV Tunes won't just be paying licensing to one entity, it will now have to pay licensing to Warner Brothers Global Media, and with this, they may have to actually pay more for licensing. If the price becomes too expensive, they too may have to drop these cartoons from their platform. So, in conclusion, what does this all mean for us as consumers? Well, for now, I'd say check out MeTV Tunes while it is still around instead of paying extra to see your favorite shows on multiple streaming services. At least they have Hanna-Barbera stuff and Looney Tunes. I believe they also have like Popeye, Freakazoids on there. They have a lot of old classics. However, they do not air the 90s Cartoon Network shows. That's the unfortunate thing. So Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, you're not going to really find those on MeTV Tunes. And unfortunately, to see those tunes, that would require you to get the additional streaming services, which I know we all don't want to do because it's just going to cost a lot to have them. Honestly, at this rate, I would just buy the shows on DVD or Blu-ray. At least in this sense, you own a copy of them forever without the fear of asshole corpos taking them away willy-nilly and having you guys hop around from streaming service to streaming service just to see the shows you want to watch. And believe me, it'll save you a lot more money. As for the future of Warner Brothers Discovery and Cartoon Network, it's still hard to tell, but I have a gut feeling that their decisions are not going to pull them out of debt as nicely as they want. They're going to definitely face a lot of setbacks with their decisions. And does this mean the end of Cartoon Network? Well, I have to be bleak here, but from the years of seeing what's been going on, it really feels like Cartoon Network's been gone already, and for a long time. It feels like it's just been non-existent at this point. You could watch Cartoon Network shows on HBO Max, but let's be honest, Cartoon Network was more than just the shows. It was also cartoons, funny bumpers, opportunities to vote online for your favorite characters to be president, Halloween specials, movie specials, you name it. I mean, I could go on and on. You don't get any of that on a streaming service, unfortunately. All I can hope is that one day we could get a network or something that emerges with the same passion and love for cartoons as Cartoon Network did. In the meantime, we'll just have to wait. Well, I hope you found my video to be insightful, and please feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm always interested to see what you guys think. Anywho, until next time, take care and peace out.